Shelley Ann Price of Jamaica, personal best of 10:70, fourth fastest of all time in the women's 100 metres. The champion from 2009, just like Usain Bolt, bidding to regain her title. Carmelita Jetta, we worried what sort of form she was in, but she looked brilliant in the semi-final, except she got a slow start, but she came through in splendid style, the defending champion. Then we have Muriel Ahore from the Ivory Coast. Set a national record this year at 10:91. She's in the form of her life this season. A world indoor silver medalist last year and an Olympic finalist. Blessing Okagbare already with the long jump silver medal to her credit. She was fifth in 2011. She's better now. She's twice smashed the African record in the Diamond League meeting in London, down to 10.79. The second Jamaican in the lineup, one of the most experienced sprinters in this lineup. She was the silver medalist back in Beijing in 2008, now in her fourth World Championship final. It's Karen Stewart for Jamaica. And the field competed by the fourth American, Octavius Freeman, from the University of Central Florida in the United States of America. At 21, the joint youngest in the field, along with English Gardner. So the two American 21-year-olds on either side of this lineup in lanes 2 and 9. Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce has looked the favourite in lane 4, or is Carmelita back to the form which took her to the title in 2011? The 2011 winner, Jetta, up against the 2009 winner, Fraser-Pryce. Can Okagbare produce the form again that she's been showing all season in brilliant sprint fashion? Final, the women's 100 metres. Gardner, Anderson, Fraser-Pryce, Jetta, Ahore, Okagbare, Stewart and Freeman. Fraser-Pryce in 4, Jetta in 5, then Ahore, then Okagbare. Oh, Gardner's offered brilliantly, the rest of all, but look at Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce now coming through the field. Still Gardner in second place, and it's all over about. It's Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce. It's very close for second. Oh, Ahore dipping very well at the line there, but 10:72 for Shelley.
At least she got the silver medal for the long jump. Well, not for that one because, oh yeah, there was a lot of attention on her. Expectation to see if she could finish in the top 3. That was not to be. It was the latter 3, 6th position. That's where she finished, Blessing Okagbare. Well, talking sports now, George Aluo joins us today. He's a roving sports editor of the Sun newspaper. Morning, I thank you for coming on today.
It's my pleasure, Chamberlain.
Well, mixed bag now. Yes, she got that silver medal, even though very close. It would have been a gold medal. Again, just a little fine-tuning here and there. Now that we've seen similar thing in athletics, how she takes off, but doesn't end well in all of those. What do you think from what you've seen so far?
Well, I think Blessing has done well because she was our hope, our number one hope for medal. And I'm happy that unlike at the London 2012 Olympics, where she was way down, she was so much under pressure, this time she's been able to give us something, a silver, which was as good, because it has been 14 years. It's not just like at the Nations Cup when we broke our 19-year-old jinx.
Yeah.
We've been able to win something. The last time we won something at the World Championship was way back in Barcelona in 92. So it's good that Blessing won something for us at these games. For the 100 meters women, I knew it was going to be a very tight one. And the Blessing Okagbare that I know is a slow starter. That is her biggest problem. She starts accelerating in the last 50 meters. The first 50 meters, she's very slow. Her takeoff is a problem. I just hope that the coaches will continue to work on her. But then, her biggest hope for medal was in the long jump. She was close to getting gold, but she missed it. But silver is still good enough. So I think for us, the good thing is that unlike the junior one in Donetsk, where we came back without a medal, we'll have something in the kitty for now. And it can only get better. I think if we put our ass together, we could still get 1 or 2 other medals. The 4x100 men and women is still there, with the likes of Glory Asumuno and then Blessing combining with other ladies in the team. We could get something in the 4x100 and 4x400.
And she can only be allowed to be a slow starter if only you are Usain Bolt.
Yes, if only you are Usain Bolt. She accelerates. I think it has to do with height. If you look at Bolt too, because of Bolt's height, he starts slowly, but by the time he accelerates, by the time he takes off, you can't stop him.
But that's his technique. He's got a fantastic technique.
Exactly. I think Blessing has that same problem, but you can't do that and get away with it when you have the likes of a Price, the Jamaican girl. You see, very diminutive, and look at her speed. She starts very well, and she continues with that pace. So it is difficult when you are running against such people. Well, I think on the whole, like I said, Blessing has done well. She has really done well. Giving us a silver is something we should celebrate.
But athletes, generally, the way the Sports Commission now handle athletes, well, we've seen her come through the ranks. Her state does a lot in helping her get to this stage. What about other states, the athletics federations, and are they doing enough to support the athletes?
Well, I would say no. Chamberlain, that is the truth. But I think the approach we should adopt is this: ensure that we take care of the elite athletes. Yes, the National Sports Commission is talking about grassroots sports development now. But it's one thing for you to discover these athletes, and it's another thing for you to now nurture them to stardom. If you look at Blessing Okagbare, when she was discovered in Delta State has continued to monitor her progress. In fact, the governor takes special interest in her. And you see where she is now, she's at that level. So we have some other elite athletes that we could begin to nurture from now to. Look at Regina George, for instance. We saw her at the London Olympics. She ran her personal best. She may not have won medal, but I looked at that girl. At 21, she's a good medal potential for us in the 400 meters. And I continue to watch her. She's in the semi-final of this World Championship. Watch out for her in Rio 2016. But all that has to do with what we do with this girl, George. If we continue to develop her, ensure that she's... Look at Blessing, for instance. She almost burned herself out. And when the likes of Dan Nigerian complained before this World Athletics Championship, we knew where he was coming from. She won the Diamond League. She was in London running. And all these runs is for her to make money because she has to survive. How much are we investing in her? The corporate bodies that want her to win in Nigeria, how much are they investing on her? No, if you don't invest in these athletes, Chamberlain, it's difficult for the managers out there in Europe are only out to exploit you and make money. So, but look at the Jamaican athletes. They take it easy. They don't go for all the competitions out there in Europe because they have sponsorship, people that are putting a lot of money on them. Usain Bolt, for instance, will pick the competitions he wants to go for. Yeah, he has decided now that he wants to go to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow because injury stopped him in the last 2 editions, and he has so many medals, but he hasn't got a Commonwealth medal. So next year he says he wants to run. So he picks the competitions he wants to run because he is comfortable. But you can't say the same thing of Nigerian athletes.
Talking about the corporate bodies, because which corporate body wants to put money and not make profits? Because yes, at the end of the day, it comes down to that. Is the environment conducive for them? Because you talked about the states doing what they have to do. But while they do that, how do we juxtapose or make sure that it's attractive?
You get all the mileage if you put your money on a big star. Look at before the Olympics, for instance. First Bank made Blessing Okagbare their brand. And they got a lot of mileage from it. I mean, celebrating Blessing Okagbare, I don't see how a corporate body will say they lose out from it. But then you have to invest in such
I'm talking about corporate bodies supporting sports generally.
Yes.
Because we see the same complaint in football. We see it in almost in all sports. And incidentally, we seem to focus on only football here, which at the end of the day, how many medals does it get us?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you ask yourself, how much do we invest in sports as to want to get medals?
Yeah, so where do we begin to, how do we begin to get it right?
Government must be ready to put more money into sports. I'll continue to
Some say they should hands off. Now you say they should put more money.
No, they need to put more money. And then we need to equally... See, the ETF, for instance, Educational Trust Fund, has made the universities and polytechnics and colleges of education to build facilities. You understand me? Because they can draw from such funds. But in sports, there is no deliberate policy to make sure that corporate bodies put money into sports.
Okay, look at it this way.
See, sports is big business, Chamberlain.
Yeah.
The era when... See, look at London, for instance. Let me give you a typical example. London says that they want to bring 70 major sporting events into their country. And the way to drive it is to
by the
get,
way, that's
look
the
at the jump that gave us a
silver
silver, yes.
jump.
And one way they are driving it is drawing money from the lottery fund. So London has continued to attract international competition, but we can't host anything. I am, for instance, a board member of the Nigerian Weightlifting Federation. We can't even host Africa next month in September.
Why?
We are most backing out because we don't have the funds. And there are no corporate bodies that are interested in bankrolling these things. And next year, at the Glasgow 2014, people expect Nigerian lifters to go and win medals. How do you win a medal when you are not in camp? The minimum you can camp a weightlifter to be able to give you Commonwealth medals is 1 year. And we are less than 1 year away from Glasgow. These are the challenges. So we are not putting enough money into sports. The sports ministry, even at that level, is the least funded when it comes to budgetary allocation. And you can't be talking about winning medals in a vacuum. You can't. I agree that there must be transparency in even the little funds that we get in sports, yes.
Because that's an issue.
Yes, that's an issue. And it's not only in sports. It's an issue everywhere in Nigeria. There must be some level of transparency, because if you are not transparent, you cannot get funding.
Right from the way we do our sports elections.
Exactly.
To the way
we spend money and all that, administration and all that. These are challenges. But then we must put money on these elite athletes. If we identify athletes that are good, we are not saying give money to administrators to spend. Invest this money on these elite athletes. Like I've mentioned Regina George, she's just 22 now. Which means by Rio 2016, she will be 24. And if she can get to the semi-finals of London 2012, and you invest in her, give her scholarship, she's already in the United States, in another 2 years, you will see that that girl will excel. So the pattern of funding should change. Identify these athletes. Make the welfare of Nigerian athletes #1 priority.
While that is also being done, because we've heard examples of some of these states that are supporting the athletes that are succeeding, what some of them do is that they don't just put people there based on nepotism or tribalism
and all that, yeah.
Put people who can do the job. Because I remember some saying, look, I just went in and the governor told me, well, just put people who can do the job. Forget about all this politics you play, because even if they give all the money, give all the sponsorship, and people got into those positions to run those funds because of
what they want to get.
Yeah, and who they knew before getting into those positions.
I agree with you, Chairman. That is a challenge. I agree with you that is a challenge. Well, most people who are passionate, people who want to put money into sports, are not people who want to get into sports for what they want to derive from it. That is a challenge. I agree with you.
Even in football today, I mean, we're talking about lots of Nigerian supports.
I don't want to go into that area, because
but unfortunately we have to. Nigeria is playing tomorrow in South Africa, so we have to talk football at least, looking ahead of that.
You get sick when you talk about the Nigerian
but we shouldn't give up.
Yeah.
We have to keep saying, how do we get this right?
Because for you to get it right, we must do the right thing. We must get administrators who are passionate. We must get people.
Not all this zoning is zoned to this area.
Look at the match we are playing tomorrow against South Africa. If you see the kind of reception that the South Africans gave the Super Eagles, you see that they are in a world of their own. Truth be told. So, but I think we'll gradually get there. The LMC, for instance, is doing a good job with our league. Clubs are now getting money. But 10 million is nothing. 10 million. What we're saying is that people who you put in a position to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Now clubs can get 10 million. It means that in another 1 season or 2, they could get 20, 30 million. I don't want to see, and then we should scrap this idea of having government parastatals as professional football clubs.
That's another topic we should talk about subsequently.
That's what I'm telling you, that when it comes to football, it's a lot of challenge.
Even challenge with time. Thank you for coming on, George Aluo, Roving Sports Editor of the Sun newspaper. So back after this, join us again.